plants are, and it's a hybrid of
Hydroponics and
hydroponics and conventional gardening.
yeah. So when you told me about this, how long you been doing it now? For about 2 years, 3 years?
Going on 3 years, yeah.
Okay, I remember when you first told me about it, I didn't know anything what it was until you built my very first one, or you gave me one with some salad, some lettuce, different varietals of lettuce, and some parsley. And I was surprised how well it took off. And Monica and we actually got quite a few lettuce. I mean, I used it for not only my sandwiches that I took for work, but we actually used quite a bit of it and brought it up for made salads with at her family's house out there in Norco. And no one said, what is this? It was really good.
Yeah.
So as you can see here, if I choose to put some of the video content up, this is kind of an overgrown. What do you say? This is a seasonal type of a.
Yeah. So this primarily has winter crops, which are lettuce and parsley. And once temperatures start to heat up, the lettuce does something called bolting, where it'll grow a really tall stalk and then it'll flower. And at that point, it cycles most of the nutrients into the flowers instead of the leaves, and the leaves become very bitter and you can't eat it anymore. So at that point you have to remove the winter crops and start your spring and summer crops.
So right after we just had all this rain a few weeks ago, or we had a cycle of rain for about a month here, and the temperatures dropped, and now that it has been warming up, I thought that this lettuce was coming back, but you're saying this is from what I see, this growth here, you're actually saying it's bolting, and you showed me the flower. So theoretically, I mean, maybe some leaves are still good, but right now this is kind of ready to go to the compost.
The larger leaves are still edible and probably taste good, but you're better off actually replanting plants that do well in the summer at this point.
So on Earthboxes in general, I mean, you said they're seasonal, so is it something that one could expect to change out every 6 months or so?
Well, food crops in general, if they're not actual fruit trees, are seasonal. Except you've got exceptions like when they have a greenhouse and they're growing tomatoes and peppers. Tomatoes and peppers are actually perennial plants and not annual plants, so they'll do well as long as the conditions are right. But plants like lettuce and parsley are seasonal. So just like you pick your crops and then you plant the next season, Earthboxes work the same way.
So what actually got you first started into this? I mean, what triggered you to actually, hey, I want to make my own Earthbox, or I want to buy the components online, or what sparked your interest?
Well, my wife and I bought a house 4 years ago, and it has a fairly large yard, and I wanted to start growing our own vegetables and fruit. And I became interested in both in-ground farming as well as container farming, just to experiment which one I liked better and which yielded the most crops. And the claims from the Earthbox company are that they use half the water of conventional gardening, and the plants produce twice as much yield as conventional gardening. And I've had mixed results. It depends on the conditions in which you're planting. Like if we plant any kind of crops in an Earthbox on our slope that's exposed to a lot of wind, the plants don't do as well versus if they're closer to the house where they have a little more protection. But in general, they work very well, and I've had really good. They have holes for the casters, so they are very easily portable. The other benefit is if you're using the cover that comes with them, it's essentially like a plastic trash bag.
Yeah, I was going to say it looks like a hefty trash bag, a black one.
Well, that is, because I ran out of covers.
Okay.
But the other benefit is you don't have to weed.
Yeah.
So the weeds don't have space to grow, so you're not wasting fertilizer on growing weeds and spending time picking weeds.
Now, what about parasites or bugs or anything? Have you noticed? I mean, I was really lucky. The first few weeks that I had this, I noticed 0 bugs whatsoever, and maybe it was just a moment or until they actually found the plant itself. The only thing I had to contend with was aphids, more or less, and washing off aphids. And I see the occasional. I look at it here and there, and on closer inspection, it looks like some bug might be eating a couple of leaves. But overall, I really haven't found any bugs other than aphids.
Yeah, actually, the best defense against pests is a very healthy plant. And out of an earth box, you grow very healthy plants. So the occasional pest really isn't a big deal.